All right, we're back for our second week, and I've got Sharon here. And Sharon, go ahead and introduce us to what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to our second mastermind session. Today we're going to take a deep dive into optimizing your Google business profile and leveraging customer reviews.
Well, and I think that there's two elements that are key to this. And one of those is how to enhance your online presence. And the other one is how to attract more customers. So basically, how do we look online? How do we show up online? And how are our people finding us?
Yeah, so your Google business profile panel is like your digital storefront. So for those of you who aren't familiar exactly what we're talking about, it's that panel you land on in search and maps when you're trying to go to a business or you're searching something specific and Google brings you this profile. So, and the idea behind it is to make it appealing and, start with something that is, clear and engaging in your descriptions. And this should include, the whole thing of what Google's really wanting, which is like, who are you? What do you do? How do you do it? Who do you do it to? Why you? Basically, what are you offering and what sets you apart? And then also thinking through the whole process of, what keywords are naturally going to be there. And then what also to avoid so that you don't get dinged by Google for keyword stuffing, which is a true thing. And you don't want your panel suspended.
Exactly. And back in the day, for any of us that have been in this marketing world for a while now, decades now, that used to be a thing, right? That keyword stuffing, people would get in there and just stuff those words wherever they could to be able to create this ability to show up. Well, Google figured that out. They were on to us pretty quickly. So, it's important to not do that. And also not to forget to select the most relevant categories for your business, because when we do this, it helps Google to understand what you do and to match you up with the right searches. So when you accurately list your services and your products and give details, it allows your potential customers to get a clear picture of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, and then let's talk about visual, because we live in a visual world now. So high quality photos and videos are critical. They're not only make your profile more attractive, but they also help potential customers visualize your offers, including a variety of images of your storefront, interior, your team, products, and even you with your happy customers. And for those of you who don't have storefronts, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to have that. One of the best ways I tell people to do that is if you do Zoom calls, do a screenshot of you on your Zoom call and use that as one of your photos, because all Google wants to see is that you're a real business. And that's what other people want too. And they want to identify with that as well. So when you're doing that visual piece of it too, you also kind of got to remember to make sure that you show people that they are, kind of like who you're looking for.
Absolutely.
So that they see themselves there.
100%. And don't forget about videos, because videos are great too. And a short introductory video or a behind the scenes kind of gives them a glimpse into the business and can really engage viewers and people who are looking for a brand just like yours. And it's important to remember that the visuals are often the first thing that people notice. So they're not, as much as we love a great logo and a great palette, it's not typically the first thing that draws them in. It's usually like your images, your pictures, your videos. So you want to make sure that they are representative of your brand.
Yeah, and they're shorts. So also keep that in mind. Google only allows you to have 30 seconds.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're not talking about a movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, your extended stuff goes on YouTube.
Well, and that leads us to the special features.
Yeah. And so don't overlook special features, and which is like doing posting on Google. So a lot of people, I'll say, do you post on Google? When they tell me, oh yeah, we post every week, a couple times a week on Facebook. And I'll be like, well, are you posting on Google? And people kind of have the deer in the headlight look. So for those of you who are not aware of it, you can post on Google just like you can on social media, but the way you write for it is a little bit different. But in it, you can do offers if you're running a special. Has a start and end date and time. If you have an event, it's, you can do that. Updates are your other option, which are just your basic things that you want to educate people on. And it's really super important to be that educator in your industry. It's just a great way also to keep your profile active and engaging, which is what Google wants. But unlike social media that you can post on every single week, you really do have a cap of about twice a week on your Google Business Profile panel. And if you get much beyond that, you're going to get into a situation where Google's going to potentially suspend your panel for, kind of that whole keyword stuffing.
Yeah.
They call it, over posting because Google's not social media.
Absolutely. Well, and it just comes across as spammy, right? As social media is a different aspect, right? We're there to socialize. Google, we're there to get the information about what we're looking for. So kind of think about it in that aspect. If you're the type of person that does need or want to post on a daily basis, that's great. Make sure you're doing that over at your social media. And then your better posts that you want to really represent your brand, that would be a good place to put it, would be your Google profile. And another useful feature kind of in the special features area is the Q&A section. And this encourages, customers to be able to ask questions and provide thorough, informative answers. And so one of the things that you can do is, if you have customer base right now, you can ask them what are some questions that they wanted, they were asking when they found you, right? And there's lots of other places you can find some of this information, but I always like to go to my customer, what how did you find me? Like, what were some things that you were searching in there? What are some questions that you had? Because those give you a great idea on some things that you can actually put out there as a Q&A. And also, if your business takes appointments, make sure that you enable that booking capability directly through your profile.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I would say is, Q&A isn't really it really isn't an option anymore. It's a requirement because I think it's 68.5% of all searches in Google start out in the form of a question. So they expect you to put questions out there.
I love those. I love the stats.
Not an option. Yeah.
So this is not, there's no option to this. If you don't have it out there, and again, I think we said this a lot that last mastermind that we did, but we get it. As a business owner, you have so many things that you need to do. You're taking care of your clients all day. We all have a personal life. We're caring for our own, health and wellness. And then that's one more thing that we need to do. And I'm sure that you have an ongoing list of things internally that you have to check off, just like I do. And I'm sure Sharon does too. We realize that needs to happen, but push this up toward the top. If you don't currently have a Q&A out there, or maybe you haven't looked at it in a while, kind of take this as a moment with your homework to be able to go and really just look and see what is out there now. Start to do a little bit of research.
Yeah. And I would say one of the easiest way is when you answer your phone, what's the first question you're asked by somebody who's a potential new customer? I mean, for
Absolutely.
us, I'd say, and then, make sure you have it out there. I think, for us, our biggest thing recently, because of the algorithm changes Google's had, has been all the suspended panels and the difficulty people have had in verifying their new panels, or if they've moved, verifying their new addresses. And that's been a huge thing that we've been seeing. And just like us, there's going to be new trends that come along. In your business, there's going to be new trends too. Or if you add a new product, add some Q&A around it.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. And another thing that you want to start to think about that kind of leads us into what we're going to kind of talk about, because this is a two-part, right? We're talking about how to kind of get all that information out there. But then once you have customers, how do you really leverage those reviews of your current customers?
Yeah. So let's shift to the power of reviews. 78% of all people will leave a review if you just ask. 78%. And that number has not wavered in the 10 years that the Google My Business and Google Business Profile panel has been around. So a lot of it's just getting out there and having the, courage to ask, because some people don't like to ask. But, a review is a major factor in your search ranking. Do you know that the average person, when they're going to work with your business, even if they have been referred to you, will read anywhere between 4 and 7 reviews before deciding to actually work with you? So your reviews provide that social proof and that influence from existing customers to help potential new customers make a decision.
And, the quantity and the quality of the reviews matter on a ranking side too. A higher number of positive reviews can boost your ranking in local searches, and that increases your visibility.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll tell you is you really want people to write, because Google has the option, if you have a bunch of star ratings out there, to remove them after 6 months that don't have any written piece to them. So it's really important that you're getting your people to write something. So like we give like letters and suggestions to our client base. And so if you take some of my other free and paid classes out there, we give you suggestions on that. But just always make sure that you're asking them to like give you a story, because stories sell. And what better way to sell a story than to sell it from your own client? So tell us your favorite moment of working with us. What was your biggest aha moment? What did you find was the easiest part of working with us? Something like that. And ask them a specific question along with asking them to leave a review.
Absolutely. And then make sure and respond. And I know you were going to share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So responding to reviews are critical, whether they're positive or negative. Google wants you to reply to every review within 14 days. And that's why they email you every time you get a review, so that you don't even have to guess about whether it's out there or not. If you just watch your, Google business profile, data come in through your email, you'll know that you've got a review. You can click right there and go out and answer it. So a simple thanks to acknowledge it is all that you need to do. Google does not scan your reply for any knowledge. They just want to see that you've made the effort to do it, because in their mind, if you don't care about your client, why should they?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't have to be difficult, right?
Right. Thanks for taking the time to leave a review. Glad that you had a positive experience with us.
Absolutely. Well, and I like that you mentioned that Google doesn't scan it, and they don't. But another thing is that I know for a fact your potential customers are reading it. I actually got feedback the other day for somebody that I actually referred out. I referred somebody out, and they got back with me and said, there's a couple of negative reviews on there, and it's not so unheard of that would happen. But I did notice that this person didn't respond to the negative reviews. And it wasn't like recent. It was a long time ago. It's not like they hadn't seen it yet, and so this person decided to not move forward with this just because of that. That sole reason they did not move forward was because, this person had not gone back in and addressed these negative reviews. And I think it's important because none of us like to receive negative feedback, even if we need to, because none of us are perfect all the time, right? We can make mistakes. Our business can make mistakes. We can make mistakes. And I think most people that are searching realize that, right? They realize that they're humans running human businesses, right? So mistakes are going to happen.
And when you get a bunch of, when you have 700 reviews and are all 5 stars, Google kind of feels like, well, are you review stuffing? I mean, they want the reality that not everything's going to be perfect every minute of every day.
Exactly. So, that makes a realistic view of what's really going on, because it is unrealistic to think that everyone everywhere is going to be happy at all times, because there's always things that can happen. And so I think it's important to not take those negative reviews as an insult, as more of a feedback. Like maybe there's things that could have been done a little better, and maybe this person misunderstood. It could go all different ways, but no matter what, it's important to get in there and respond.
And make sure you're not upset when you do it.
Yes.
Because I've had clients I've had to call and be like, I had to take your reply down because you don't want to reply like that, because then it looks bad. If you're upset and you just rant like they just ranted, 2 negatives don't make a positive, as my mother would say,
Absolutely.
So, acknowledge their concern, apologize for it. The other thing I'll tell you is, there are times you're going to get a review that's not real, and you're going to go and like that. I know that came from, somebody who's never in my office,
Yeah. Sometimes a competitor.
Yeah. So when you have that, reply to the review before you flag it, because you can flag it in Google that it's, spam or whatever. but reply first and say, I'm sorry, but we don't have any information about anybody with your email or your name or whatever in our system. We have no knowledge of you being here. Could you please reply back and provide us some specific information around, your visit, date, time, who waited on you, anything like that. Once you do that, and then you go back in and you flag it as spam, Google's going to take it more seriously because you made the effort to get the person to engage back with you.
Absolutely. Well, and that shows that you're doing your due diligence as a company, as a brand, to be able to reach out to this person who may or may not be very, very unhappy with a service that you may or may not have provided, but you've done your due diligence. So I really like those examples. Again, business it's not about perfection, right? It's about learning as we go and realizing the things that, we need to do to make sure that we are showing up the way that we should, that we are, meeting our customers' needs. But there are going to be those outliers of people that just want to be nasty, honestly, for no reason. And so it's important to still do your due diligence, but then let Google do their job, to take it down.
Yeah. And, make it easy for them to leave a review. A lot of our trade companies, which are in people's houses doing things, air conditioning, water heaters, whatever that may be, we actually got to the point that we have helped our trade companies make magnets with the QR code on it. So it'll have their logo and their telephone number for emergencies. And then it'll have the QR code on it and say, please leave us a review and let us, and, help others understand the services we provided you so they know what we do. And, and they'll hang it on the furnace or they'll hang it on the water heater. And maybe a situation where the person doesn't maybe leave the review right then, but the next month they go in and change their filter out on the furnace. They go, oh, I still haven't done that. I think I'm going to, do it now. Or, some of ours, they hang the magnets on people's refrigerators. Some of them have little cards that they leave behind that says, please leave us a review with your most, happy memory of your experience with us or something like that. We recommend, table cards for restaurants, for hairdressers, salons, things like that to, have a QR code at your checkout counter. Just something easy and just say, hey, or even like, if you're a hair salon or a med spa, when they're at your station, say, hey, by the way, if you've never left me a review before, I'd love it if you take the minute to leave me a review. If you just want to scan the QR code, and get started, even if you don't want to finish it till you get home, just don't close it out. Mm-hmm. And, specifically make sure you mention my name and exactly what I did for you.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, you can do links in your email signature. You can have it on your website. And, it doesn't have to be this awkward thing. I know you mentioned a few minutes ago, sometimes people, they do. There's SMS marketing. I know with the cafe, another business I have with a cafe that I have, like we have it all automated. Like it automatically will, send out like an SMS text, a marketing link for them to leave a review. And that's helped a lot, right? It's been able to automate a lot of those things. But, you can also just, if you work with somebody, you can literally just ask them, we hope that you enjoyed your service today. And if you have a moment, we'd love to hear your feedback on Google. And like Sharon mentioned, have something easy, don't be trying to give them the whole URL verbally because nobody is going to remember that. Have something that they can scan or that, a direct link they can click, something that makes it easy for them because we are all busy. Everybody is so busy. And even if we mean to go and do these things, a lot of times we don't make it to go do it, right? There's a lot of times that I've forgotten to leave reviews for things that I've meant to go do because again, it was like they verbally said, hey, can you leave us a review? I'm like, yes, I had a great time. I will definitely leave you a review. And then I completely forget about it, right? It's not that there's an ill intent in that. It's that we are all busy and we can forget. So if you make it easy for your customer to help you, then it's going to help everyone.
Right. And that's so true because I mean, like I know we stayed at an Airbnb a few weeks ago and, it took me 3 times in the emailing me for me to actually take the time to finish leaving the review. I filled out everything all the way to the point of what I wanted to write. And I just needed a little bit of time to sit and think about what I want to say because I really loved the place and, how I wanted to word it. And so, sometimes it might be a situation where you might have to ask a few times, but eventually they're going to do it because you've been, diligent enough to just say, hey, can you give me your feedback? So, and then the other thing too is like, if you're going to send them a review, you could even send them suggestions of things that other people have talked about, just so that they don't have to sit here and think about where they might start the conversation, so, that might be a good thing for some people too.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely. Well, and it again, you can put reminders on receipts. You can have in-store signage on the social media channels. And again, it's just about honest feedback, because authentic reviews are the most valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in summary, basically, as we said last week, your Google business profile is the first place Google goes to look at your business and learn about it. And it is now the first place it sends search to. So optimizing your Google business profile and leveraging customer reviews are essential in your strategy for enhancing your online presence and attracting more customers, and having Google see your brand have a stronger brand strength behind it.
Absolutely. And by refining your profile and actively engaging with your reviews, you can create a strong and trustworthy online image. And it's important to remember that these efforts can significantly impact your business's viability and customer relationships.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. We're excited to see how you implement these strategies. And if you want to go out to my website, extendmp.com, you have a lot of options for some free classes to learn a little bit more about this stuff. And if you have any further questions or needs, also feel free to, ask during the Q&A session, and keep coming back.
Absolutely. And if you end up tuning in and while this is a replay, you can pop those questions into the comments and one of us will get in there and answer them. And keep an eye out, because we will be dropping out some more free resources and some more tips, some more strategies. And we're going to continue to do these classes. So we look forward to seeing you on our next session. Have a great day.